Hi my friends, I'm so glad you're with me today. I feel like it's been forever since I've done a get ready with me video. Just that week of the Emily Awards in there really made me do a different kind of video for a while. But I have had some requests for like holiday makeup looks and I thought let's do one of those today. So this one we're gonna do kind of a fun pop of green on the eyes and that's what everything's gonna center around. So let's get started. Skincare is on, sunscreen is on, and I am ready for primer. I'm still kind of experimenting with this Aqua Splash Grip Primer from Catrice. It's worked really well for me so far. I feel like generally I can use the extra hydration. We did have kind of an odd day yesterday where it was just really rainy, not so cold, and it just felt like there was a lot of moisture in the air for once. But other than that, I felt pretty dry, and I've seen like a little dry patch kind of emerging on this part of my nose, kind of between the brows, so I feel like an extra hydrating primer step can be good for me. So this reminds me a ton of the gripping primer from Hard Candy. Both are smooth, easy to blend across the skin, not overly sticky. Then I just got a wild hair on this product here, this stick from Charlotte Tilbury. Now it's a really, really glowy stick, and for me, it doesn't really suit me to just wear this as all over foundation, so I'm gonna treat it kind of like Hollywood Flawless Filter in a stick form and use it as kind of a secondary primer. It's called the Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint. I have shade 4. I feel like I've barely used this, and I did see somebody talking about it kind of recently, and I'm like, you know, I gotta find a way to get some use out of that thing. You can see how glowy it is, but it's like glow mixed with some coverage. I do really like the packaging, and I just like sticks, so I have this inner desire to make it work, you know? I'm just gonna take a little brush here. This is my Profusion buffing brush, and I'm just gonna work that in. And then on top of this, I've chosen just a generally much loved foundation, and we'll see how they pair. The beauty of makeup is you don't have to know that it's going to all work out perfectly. You know, you're still going to get through the day. Everything's still going to be fine. I am so frequently in an experimental phase with the looks I'm wearing. Like, it doesn't upset me if something doesn't come together perfectly or work out super well. Obviously, I'm very happy when products do work the way I hope they will, but something is gained, something is learned, no matter what, I guess. All right, so that's all blended in. And I do look super radiant. Also, I cleaned off my little area here. It's so nice. I still have stuff out, but it's very organized. This is a foundation I'm going to use. It's my L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. Sorry that's hard to see because the bottle is mostly empty, but I wear light 2-3 here, and I've got about this much left. So I'm going to try to work through this, and I do plan to repurchase, but I won't throw away that pump. The pump is great for this. This comes with a dropper typically, but I use 1 full pump of the product, and let's just see like how this meshes with the Tilbury stick, how much glow is still going to come through. This particular foundation does have a little luminosity itself, but I'm just using that same brush. I got a zit on the side of my face, and I used a pimple patch on it last night, and it still looks a little red, but it completely flattened it out. It's about that time of the month, so I think that's why. I really like blending foundation. Blending foundation, blending concealer. It didn't always used to excite me, but it's kind of like the way they say, you know, you're becoming an adult when, I don't know, you found a really good crock pot meal or something like that. Maybe you know you're becoming an adult when the things that excite you about your makeup routine are the coverage steps. I don't feel like I'm 40 years old. Sometimes I think about how old I am. I'm like, am I not still in my 20s? I don't know if it's a third child thing. I don't know what it is, but I can't place myself at this age. I just can't. I can't make sense of it. I'm not saying, oh, I look so young. I'm just saying my soul does not think it's 40. That's because my soul's cackling inside. You're almost 41. I feel like some extra glow is coming through. I think I'm glowier than I typically would be with the combination of those two. The surface of my skin looks really nice though. Even looking up close, it doesn't look like, oh my gosh, there's all this shimmer attracting attention to that line and that pore or whatever. Things seem really smooth here. I want to use some more of this concealer. I did a video on the Lacura Aldi Bold Cover Concealer Shade 2. Worked out quite well for me yesterday, quite fresh all day, so I'm wanting to do some more experimentation, obviously pair it with different products, and you know, just see how it goes again. Why is this brush so enjoyable for concealer? It's from that TikTok shop brush set. I adore it. So it's 2 ends, smaller angled end I use to just spread out my concealer. Still, the e.l.f. Duo brush is great. Mine just has needed to be cleaned for like several weeks. So that's why she's on hiatus right now, because I just haven't had time. but I'm just spreading that out. Not fully blended, but see how good the tone is? I really don't love that it's this fragranced. I'm really catching that fresh, best way to describe it is like Suave shampoo kind of scent. Like, why are you in there? Why do we need scent and concealer? I like a lot of smelly good things, but I don't need my concealer to smell. Check it out. Pretty good on that under eye. My takeaway was kind of like, it's not quite as much coverage as I feel like I'm getting out of my e.l.f. or my Revlon or my Derma Blend, but it's close and staying power is really similar to the ones I like so much. I feel like today I did maybe just a little bigger dot when I mushed it down, like I got a little more on. But the pairing yesterday with Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder was excellent, so I'm gonna do that again today. I love Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder and Fair. Don't let anybody tell you you're last minute Christmas shopping. That's a pet peeve of mine. People were talking last minute even like a week ago. No, clearly you didn't grow up getting gifts for your mom with your dad on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is last minute. If you don't have it all done, don't feel bad. We have other things going on in life and it's okay. I saw this funny video the other day talking about Christmas and like the mom's gazing at the tree and somebody's saying, don't worry, somehow it'll all get done, but I am the somehow. So I got that on the under eye, went on autopilot, don't know how I did the rest. You know, T-zone, general places. We're set, it looks good, it doesn't look too heavy, can't complain. Then I thought, let's bring in a powder foundation, but it doesn't always have to be Maybelline Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation. Let's grab for something else. I've actually hit pan on this one. This Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear Foundation in a powder. This is in True Beige. Pick up a little bit of that. I think it's very similar to the Maybelline. I just feel like I've had more, I don't know, miraculous staying power experiences with that. I'm excited. Mom and I are gonna make Chex Mix sometime soon. We make a lot of it. Pans and pans of it. It's so good. I got a plan for my bronzer and blush. I'm gonna use some creams first and then layer up. This is Spicy Season from Milani. It's their Cheek Kiss bronzer. And I really like this stuff. I think I referenced in the Emily Awards how it kind of feels like the consistency of those really good high-end stick contours, but just put into a pan. I feel like it blends with ease. I just stamp my Sephora 56 into it and then go to town. We want some color, we want some dimension on the skin. Surface of the skin is looking really good. A little bit in here. See how easily that picked up with the brush? Not all products in this format have that softness to them. But yet, once it blends into your skin, it's not leaving you feeling like, oh, I'm so juicy, I'm so tacky all over. Is anybody else working on a jigsaw puzzle right now? If so, tell me in the comments section what it is. I think I mentioned that I finished the one that was like the vintage Christmas album covers. Really cute, super fun. Favorite puzzle of all time. But a couple of years ago, I had also done one that was like old-timey Christmas children's books, another collage puzzle, which I think are great, especially if you're kind of frustrated with puzzling sometimes. Things just come together in a quicker, more satisfying way. Sorry, I had to unload the memory card. I decided to do the Christmas books puzzle collage after this. If I can find that one online, I'll link it below. But the Christmas albums is really great. And then my plan after finishing this is to do my It's a Wonderful Life puzzle. It's a Wonderful Life is maybe my favorite movie of all time. Bub and I always sit and watch it after the kids go to bed around Christmas time, whenever they've got it on TV. Usually it's Christmas night, isn't it? I just love it. I sob every time. Something I've been experimenting with are these Milani Cheek Kiss liquid blushes. I was sent like an entire wardrobe of Milani cream blushes. They're new glowy ones. We've played with those. Those are nice, but lower on color, higher on glow. Got the ones in the cream pans. I was already familiar with those. And then a bunch of these Cheek Kiss liquid blushes, which I'd owned 2 of them. One of them was like a nude color, and I think I just kind of came away with a so-so thought on it. But actually, these pack more of a punch than I was remembering. So I've got the Wine Glow. This was part of the PR package, and they're really good. They're very thin. I'm going to squeeze out a little bit. This is a toasty shade, as you can see. We're just going to, you know, pretend like the zit isn't there. Take my other Sephora 56 brush, wipe it off the finger. The blend is really easy, very lightweight on my skin. I don't love the squeeze tube format, but honestly, it's not that big a deal. Look at that. They're not as little goes a long way as like a Rare Beauty blush, but I'm finding them to be fairly potent, and I'm liking them. So I like this wine glow. I don't feel like I have a lot of cream or liquid blushes that are like this. The toastiness is nice. I'm gonna clean up my stuff that's sitting out and then we'll move on to the next step. Because that's what a responsible person would do, not just leave it laying out, right? As I have done so many times. And believe it or not, everything's got a home. The next thing I wanna do in the name of staying power is take a little full face palette and just kind of go over those bronzer, blush, and then add some highlight steps. So I've got my Hourglass. This is this year's Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked. It's the Dragon. I've done videos on this before, but it's the lightest color tone option. And I'm gonna go into that bronzer and I'm just gonna top off. I feel like this helps the staying power, and I just always like the finish of these powders. It's very pretty. We'll hit that contour again. And so often if I'm touching up and I'm like doing kind of a serious touch up where it's like, okay, we really want to refresh the makeup, we're going somewhere, we're doing something else later in the day, I love pulling out a full face palette because like all those touch-up steps are just right there. I'm going to use this shade of blush, the kind of rosy one, and we will just pop over that cheek area. It's kind of blurring it a little bit. Lovely, lovely. A bit of the highlight, which is right down here. Those are both setting powder type of deals for me anyway. Right in here. Little glow. Yes. Skin's looking good. Really pleased with the way these various products have layered up. The Milani color products have really been nice. They're thin. They blended very evenly, easily too. What are the kids dressing up as today? I don't think Belle has a dress up day today. Biddy needs to be... What in the world? I have no idea where I was at when I was so rudely interrupted by that cat altercation. I'm pretty sure they think they're playing. Oh, she now wants out. After the highlighter, I'm just gonna do a gentle dab all over the face with this Ambient Lighting finishing powder. Just makes everything look nice and blurred and smooth and just a little more work together, don't you think? Love that. All over. Next up, we're doing brows real quick before the eyes. This is my Milani Precision Brow. The shade is called Espresso. Just a standard skinny pencil equivalent to Brow Wiz. And I'm just kind of trying to go through what I got, you know. As you heard in the Emily Awards, CoverGirl Clean Fresh Nano Pencil is a top fave. But it doesn't mean I can't use these others that I have. There's definitely a real ease in my life once the Emily Awards are completed. Just a free flow. I'm kind of a go big or go home kind of person, like with the things I'm involved in. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it my everything. I give the Emily Awards my everything, and once I'm done, I'm like, even though it's enjoyable, it's fun. This is my favorite time of the year, just generally speaking, and you add Emily Awards to it and it just feels even more like the holidays to have that going on. But it's a big undertaking in a way that a lot of people probably don't realize. They're like, okay, so you do some intros or you do a longer video, whatever, but it's what occupies my thought in terms of deciding what I like best. It's honestly pretty hard. But anyways, I'm just going through my brows here. This is creating a pretty easy brow. I learned catching the end of Saturday Night Live the other day. I fell asleep on the couch and then woke up for the part where Gracie Abrams was standing there singing, and I'm like, oh, we have the same haircut, same length. Let's use the Clean Fresh Gel Wax on top of this. Kind of a cloudy gel, but does kind of thicken up the brows. Definitely add some hold. Somehow I got way too much in that brow. Next, we're going to throw on a bit of eyeshadow primer, and the green is going to come from the Apple in Love palette. And hopefully this can inspire a holiday look with whatever you have from your collection. You don't have to use the greens from this palette like I'm using, but this is a favorite palette of mine. Just spreading her all around. We've got this great green called Pick Me. That's going to be part of things. We also have this lighter shimmery green and just all kinds of other supporting colors to get into this look. I'm going to start out with Caramel Apple right here. This is going to be the first shade I put in the crease, and that's going to give us just a little warmth. Too Faced has always had, for as long as I can remember using this brand, they've always had a really good matte formula. I wish they'd re-release the Just Peachy Mattes palette. Do you guys remember that one? It had some great neutrals and like berry and peach colors. It was really good. Getting that all softly blended out. I can take this cream color called Sweet on You. I'm just using the same brush. That's going to go directly under my brow. And then we say, let's make that crease just a little bit deeper. Well, why not come down to this shade, Orchard Stroll. Taking a little Orchard Stroll. And get that in there, okay? This is going to be a really pretty supporting cast kind of color for the greens that end up on our lid. And by our lid, I mean my lid, but we're in this together, right? Love that toastiness, just a gentle toastiness, nothing to be afraid of. Then I'm wondering, like, what would this shade look like being anchored by something a little bit darker? Like, what about those two? I don't know. I'm going to take a little candy apple. If we don't like it, we can go over candy apple with one of the dark browns, but I'm just going to pop some of that in the outer corner. What did we say about makeup earlier? It's okay to experiment. It's okay to not even have the perfect makeup day. I'm not saying this isn't going to turn out to be the perfect makeup day. Maybe it will, but you got to go into it with some element of freedom that you give yourself so it can be fun. And it all washes off at the end of the day. And then the next day is a fresh new start. So don't get overly concerned about the end result. Enjoy the process. Just loading up candy apple right here. It's really pretty in itself, don't you think? I'm gonna work a little bit of that more into the crease. I like this. Candy apple, Profusion small pointed. I just wanna ensure that that's really part of things here. I like that. I thought it was gonna be green, and it is. Just wait. So at the end of this week, the kids are out for Christmas break. One of my best childhood memories was being at my dad's office. He was the elementary and junior high principal. At the end of the day, everything's winding down, and he's playing that Step Into Christmas, that Elton John song. He's blasting that from his office, and kids are all excited, and there's just an energy you can't even harness. It was even more spectacular than getting out for summer break, because summer break, I think there's this element of like, oh, I'm gonna miss my friends. There's a real concluding of things going on, whatever. But going out for Christmas, you couldn't mess with that pure joy. It was the joy Dad and I got over snow days too, on that level. But I'll just never forget like that music playing, and people be giving him like cookies and candy and stuff, and I'd be hanging out in there until it was time to actually go home. And it's just, the teachers were on a higher level, the kids were on a higher level. Everything was just pure joy. I feel like I was experiencing Christmas break like as a kid, but also kind of from the inside, you know? And it was just fun. I feel like Dad and I really have the same sense of what's fun in our hearts, you know, like that was fun. Okay, so this is our setup. Our setup was caramel apple. We put that in the crease first. We blended a little bit above it with the matte Sweet on You. We deepened the crease with Orchard Stroll, and then we took candy apple and I put that on the outer lid, and I used my small, very detailed brush to push that up into the crease even more. Now we're going to come in with some green. I'm going to make sure my brush is cleaned off, and I'm going to go to Pick Me right here. We're going to pick up some of that, and we're going to hope that we like the way the shade looks interacting with the berry. I know it's going to be good bordered by the warmth we first put on, but this is fun. I know a lot of you guys have this palette, so think of it as a Christmassy vibe. It's not just a fall palette. It really is very holiday. Patted over the seam between that and the berry shade, and I think I like it. It's applying so well. Like, there's shimmer in this shade, but it's so full color, and it's just laying down like a really nice velvety full colored texture. I mean, it's just so nice. I think one year when school let out for Christmas, it was actively snowing on the day it let out, and that was, of course, pure joy. Okay, there's what I've done. I'm thinking a dab of this green right on the center, but I need a little bit more of that berry coming in to make it make sense that way, you know? A little bit more of candy apple. Just meeting. So then the overlap, the seam, can be poppin' with Slice Baby is the shade. Okay, so just bringing that in a little bit further. So we're kind of a half and half right now. Half Red Delicious, half Granny Smith. I asked Mom if she'd make an apple pie soon. I love apple pie. It's my favorite kind of pie, I think. I love her cherry pie too. Cherry's just, by its nature, is a little sweeter pie. I think apple's just perfect for me. Slice Baby right here. Get a little of that. Right on that seam. trying. It's not really like, it's not popping in a really loud way. Okay, it's popping more there. See it? That's good. Okay, I must not have just picked up enough. Don't be timid. Also, the lighting always hits harder from that side. Don't ask me why. You just got to be gentle with this because you don't want jump off next to that maroonish color. You want it to gently incorporate itself. That's what I'm working on right now. And I'm just using my finger because I feel like that's where the control is, but that's good. That's doing quite well. I like that. I'm gonna like this look. Fun holiday little pop of green. I think we got it. Now what about the lower lash line? I'm thinking stick with kind of a neutrally, maybe base it in brown and then let some of that color come on top and fade it. So this is my Laura Geller Kajal Longwear in dark brown coal. That's gonna go right on here. Lower lash line. This shade can get pretty dark, so smudge it a little. Soften it a little bit. Do I want to do some winged liner with this too, maybe? Okay, so I got that, and then I'm picturing small pointed brush, candy apple, right in here, boop, 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 and then just kind of lay over that so we keep some continuity with that berryish look. Can I call apple berry? I don't know. All I know is this is fun. I'm not sure what I'm trying to do, is have a fun holiday look. I am going to do a liquid liner. I think I'm going to use my Milani Stay Put, the Tank. This is a dark brown liquid liner. And she's going to have no problem going straight across those colors. Keep it thin because we don't want to cover up the beautiful masterpiece that's on there. Flick it out. It just gives a little more glamorous vibe, you know. I'll probably take like that really dark shade called Baskets Full. I'll take that a little bit under my wing just to more so attach it to my look. Okay, see it? We got it. Little angled brush or any kind of small detail smudgy brush you got coming in with that dark matte brown. And what I mean by this is just you're touching the bottom of that liner. You're kind of pulling and blending down. I feel like maybe I lost some true green over here, so I'm just adding a little bit more of that main shade, the Pick Me shade. The greenest green, adding a little bit of that coming in from the side. And then once you've got your actual winged liner there, this is often a time where I'm looking and saying, you know, the shape needs to be adjusted. So I'm fully taking up like that amount of space toward the wing. So I'm blending a little bit more candy apple or burgundy. Just making sure I'm taking up that space is all. Next up, I'm doing mascara. I've reached for my Wet n Wild So Defined. She's been really good. She was really close to winning an Emily Award. I just don't feel like it does quite the length of the L'Oreal Red Carpet Black, Superstar Voluminous. How many other words are in that one? That one just really handles length well, but this is a good all-around mascara. I'm thrilled that Wet n Wild finally has put out a mascara that I can get behind. Aside from Big Papa, that was good, but this is elite. It's gonna give us that pretty fringe. And I think for the lip today, I'm just gonna kind of go off of whatever I'm getting from that outer corner. Were you and Rosie playing, or were you mad at each other? She looks exhausted. The first look I did with this palette, I just looked up the thumbnail of what I did. I kept with the lighter green. If you go back to my original video using this palette, I used even more of a berry thing, but a splash of that lightest green coming in from the inner corner. So this is like, we just intensified the look color-wise with what I'm doing today. So if you want less intense, check out the first take on this palette. That mascara is looking so good. I probably need one more coat on there once that gets more dry, but I'm going to do Cali Ray on the lower lashes. Guys, here's where I'm going with the lip. I'm taking the shade Passion from Milani. It's one of their matte Color Fetish lipsticks. So it's going to look kind of browny. Very Live on the Edge-esque. Just pop that on. Maybe take a little Revlon Color Stay lip liner in nude. Sometimes if I'm really just serious about the color of lipstick I'm using, I'll just use the lip liner in cleanup mode. Just clean up the outer edges. Okay, nice. Now we want a gloss on top of that that's gonna just pop up the color a little bit. I'm thinking Lifter Gloss in Rust. I want it to give just a little more life to the color. I do not want full-on red, but I just want to connect to that outer corner color a little bit. think this is doing it. Yes. Holiday. I think it's great. I think this is an awesome little way to use your Aptly in Love palette for a fun holiday look. A little pop of green. Maybe we take a little more blush from our Hourglass. Maybe take that coral. You know, I always love to reach for that one. Let it come up a little bit. In from the cold a little bit, yes. And then after doing the eyes, maybe you just want to ease over everything with just a little bit more of that finishing touch. It's the vibe of a Kosas cloud set, just going over things. There we go, friends. There's a little holiday eye look and the rest of the face as well. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any other types of looks you'd like to see before the end of the year, let me know. Maybe some kind of glam sparkly New Year's Eve look would be fun, but thank you guys so much for requesting this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.